Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. The first item on the work session is Support Services, Utility Billing Department Staffing. Scott and Michelle Hepburn.
Mr. Mayor, this is to discuss some staffing changes down in support services, as well as some changes in process between utility billing and support services that would necessitate an organizational change down there in an effort to increase customer service and increase some efficiencies, make better some processes down there that for a long time, due to staffing, we have not been able to do in a what I would feel in a good manner for our customers of the utilities. So I'll let Michelle expand more on what we're proposing.
So basically, right now, we have two full-time positions in the city, and there are no part-time or other positions that help do all of the utility billing. And that is quite a huge job. But we have only two. So one of the requests that we are looking to do is to bring in a supervisor, a third full-time position that would be able to help ensure that the utility bills are being done accurately, but also to help us put into place some internal controls, some segregation of duties that are necessary for audit purposes, so that no one individual can do everything start to finish. There needs to be a certain level of segregation of duties. In addition to that, in customer service, and we use the words interchangeably, we say support services, customer service, cashiering. It's the group downstairs in City Hall on the first floor, and they take the payments for everything, for taxes, and generate and mail out the taxes now. They do refunds, adjustments to the information. They do tax refunds. And again, we have a similar issue in that we need an extra position at a different level and layer than the current people that are here to help ensure a continuation of segregation of duties in that area as well. So the request is for two full-time staff people, one for utility billing, one for support services. Both would be supervisors. Because of the volume of the transaction and the nature of what is being processed by these two areas, the majority of the time would be charged across the utility funds, and a small portion of that would remain in the general fund. So what we would be looking to do is to come back next week with a motion to request the full-time positions. Go ahead next week if we're able to and get them posted and recruited, so that as we start to transition and move some of this other things around organizationally, we'll have staff in place and get people in and get trained and get where we need to be.
Just curious, what would happen if we tried to fund both positions out of those funds and not out of the general fund?
Well, so a portion of their time is also going to be on the tax side and for collections. And collections effort right now, we don't have anybody internally, and we do not at the city really do a good job. So we have a lot of things that is done. The police, for instance, will bill for security services. The city have some landlord responsibilities and tenants. So we have a lot of different things that we need help with the collections effort beyond just the utility billing group.
So would they be basically clocking time for doing collections work versus clocking time for doing the other role?
The reality would probably be we would look at doing something statistically where we're looking at what's the number of bills generated for each of the groups, electric, water, wastewater, tax, and who is touching what, because the utility billing supervisor that person might be almost 100% in the utilities, whereas the support services supervisor would be helping more with the general fund. But again, we'd be looking at the number of bills, something that we could consistently go out and track and be able to show to our auditors why we're splitting the time in the manner that we are doing.
Basically, this organization is the way it was before 2008, when we had the assessments, the assessment drop we had a reorganization internally. That's when I came out from doing IT only and took on utility billing, or not utility, but customer service, cashiering, and tax. And that's when Nancy Hossrath was given utility billing as the water manager. As it ended up happening, Nelia Tidler, who is pretty much, the godmother of the utility billing process as it stands here. She was the utilities financial manager, but she was also doing most of the utility billing work as well. So she not only had her job, she basically had two full-time jobs there. And even at that, she was doing a great job with that, but as Michelle had said, that presents audit issues in that you got, a lot of processes where from soup to nuts, you've got different hands in there.
Well, and also at the city, we used to have a treasurer position.
Right.
Tax position. Scott, when he was in his prior role here at the city of Hagerstown, handled the taxes, and now that's all in customer service. So again, lost a portion of a person that was doing heavy lifting on the tax side. And again, the people that are here are picking that up, but we definitely can definitely see where we're sliding on that, and we need this extra body to make it happen.
Back in 2008, we were doing probably about 150 at most a day between phone and lobby customer service work. Now we're probably pushing close to 800 a day with the same amount of staff. And that's even with the changes that we've done as far as online payments. We're working on the IVR, the pay by phone. But still, you've got that staff that was primarily just doing customer service that now is doing customer service. They're doing water settlements. They're doing service orders for terminations or movers and that kind of thing. So it's just the strain that it's put on that whole group down there, plus utility billing, when you're trying to bill, 50-some thousand accounts between electric and water, and I think I'm even shorting that some. It just has become a situation where the efficiencies are costing us more money than
Well, I
what.
think the crux of the issue, you've got the workload issue, but the crux of the issue is the segregation of duties.
That's as important as the other.
Career as an auditor.
That's
and
correct. That's correct.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
And our auditors, when they came in and they recognize it, but they also recognize, and would say to us and would say to the body sitting here, in a perfect world, you would have way more. But the effort and what we're looking to do is very reasonable and would accommodate where we need to be, hopefully. The other thing that, we are looking at right now is, as Rodney and Jim Bender and his group progress through the stormwater management study in the second phase, is if we are, after this phase 2 is finished, if we are moving forward in that direction, we definitely are going to need an extra body here who can help implement the upfronts.
Because that'll be another more than 13,700 and some additional inquiries, because there's going to be a new charge on the bill, on the
Right.
water bill, it's stormwater management. So it's going to be that additional need for customer service when people have questions on that, so.
So we'll know what the cost is to the general fund here in the next couple of weeks.
Well, so I would estimate, if base salaries for the two, Dawn Francis, our HR director, has tentatively graded what the job descriptions would look like. Probably, if we bring them in at the middle of the grade, if you get somebody who has had years of experience, about $124,000, and that's for both position. And at this point, I'm saying 35% for the general fund. Again, we may be fine-tuning those numbers as we work through the logistics of what everybody is touching and the number of the different bills being generated. But we won't have a finite number, no, because we don't even know where, until we finalize the job description. We don't want to do that until everybody here is comfortable. Then we would have a range, but I wouldn't know where we would bring those two people in.
say roughly 40 to 50 grand, somewhere like that.
Tops.
And we have enough with some other transitioning of staff, like with, Scott's transition from the Director of Information Technology and Support Services and Communications, even though he's moved to the city administrator role, some of those other functions, like we have an IT manager, but again, we still have enough overall in the fiscal year 20 budget in the general fund for the portion that will be charged there that I don't foresee a problem.
Everybody good?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Next up, Imagine Hagerstown event, part two.
Thank you.
Barely.
Thank you.
All right, gang. So we are going to try to wrap up the discussion that we began on August 6th about the future of the Imagine Hagerstown event and how it looks going forward into 2020. I think the goal tonight is to have clear direction about how we're going to move forward so that we can start to plan the events. So just to start off, I think it's important just to identify and name the 4 related purposes of a downtown signature event in the first place, so we know what we're working towards. One is to bring people downtown. One is to attract outsiders to the city. Another is to drive people to patronize downtown businesses. And the fourth is to provide arts and entertainment in the A&E district. In thinking about what a 2020 event could look like, we recommend the creation of 2 discrete events. One would be a music series on Friday nights at University Plaza, happening May, June, July, August, so 4 times, with a time frame of something like 5:30 to 8 or 6 to 8:30, so people can still grab dinner either before or after, or both. And we recommend that it happens on the same week of each month. And looking at the calendar and sort of knowing what some of the events are going into 2020, it looks like the 4th Friday is the clearest on the calendar. And we recommend an opening act that would probably be local in nature and followed by a band that has a following. And staff suggests a cover band series. That came up in conversation. It seemed interesting. The second event would be one Saturday afternoon and night of music and arts. And this would be on South Potomac Street, closed off with a stage at one end. It would just be a one-time event, at least in 2020, and the hours are proposed to be 2 to 10 p.m. Again, looking at the calendar, we thought September would be good. The last Saturday in September would kind of actually prolong the sort of 4 Friday nights into a 4th weekend event, or a 5th weekend event, I should say. September being more amenable weather-wise than something like July or August on a downtown street. This would be music and arts events throughout the day, more of a festival-like atmosphere, and there would be a headliner band that would end the evening. And then the last thing is the name, and we recommend 2 different names. So a new name for the Friday night series, something that has to do with the theme that encompasses the 4 bands, and then keeping Imagine Hagerstown for the Saturday event. The Imagine Hagerstown already has some ideas, some branding, some identity in the community, so it would be nice to kind of continue to build on that. We brainstormed a few possibilities for the Friday night music series, although I don't think that particular thing needs to be decided today. But some of the ideas could be as sort of simple as Hagerstown Music Series, Hub City Music Series, Music in the Plaza, or could get a little more complex and go something like Rewind Cover Band Series or Replay Cover Band Festival. So that's where we are right now, and we would love to hear what you think and get some clear direction on how we can move forward tomorrow morning.
So I like all of it. I just have a question on why would we give the Friday night series a different name? Here's the logic.
Well, I think marketing-wise, I think they are kind of different events, actually. I think the rhythm of a Friday night, like a band, beer in the plaza, come and hang out, happy hour kind of style, to me, seems different than a Saturday festival. I could be persuaded otherwise. That's my thinking about having it to be a different name, is that the Saturday event feels, at this point in September, feels like a different kind of event. but I could, I'm open.
I'm just thinking from a branding perspective.
Mhm.
It was very hard to brand Imagine Hagerstown. Even after the festival, people were saying I didn't know about it, even though we did everything right on paper as far as marketing. So now that we are trying to continue branding Imagine Hagerstown, to add something else, I understand your logic completely. But just from a marketing standpoint and try to get the word out, I think it would be easier to keep everything under one.
But I think the problem with
Umbrella.
Imagine Hagerstown was the fact that no one really knew what it was.
What it
Do you know what I
was,
mean?
yeah.
I think that if, to me, we could follow what other towns do and just call it Fourth Fridays in the plaza, and make it really simple. So you can't miss the fact that it's the Fourth Friday in the plaza. And we brand, and we continually, every single month, talk about Imagine Hagerstown Festival in September.
And won't
Do you know what I mean?
The Saturday festival, won't that be more family-oriented or more family-focused than the
I would think
the
so.
Friday night band and beer in the
That's what it,
plaza?
I think that's what it is, kind of feels like in other, you can still bring your family, I think, to
Sure,
Fourth Friday or
sure.
whatever we decide on,
But,
but,
but I mean, it kind of seems like it lends itself to a different name, a different concept.
and we may be able to take that branding of the way that Imagine Hagerstown is and their graphics and such and kind of like incorporate, we kind of have to.
That's just what I was gonna say.
Do you know what I
I don't
mean?
know
We
why
can-
you can't do both. I don't know why you can't have Imagine Hagerstown
Fourth Friday.
as a corporate brand, so to speak. And we have Imagine Hagerstown
Fourth
Fourth
Friday.
Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Music in the,
Yeah.
however
I
you
think that
wanna
makes
do
more
it.
sense
And then
from a-
Imagine Hagerstown on a
Festival.
Saturday and give that Saturday a name. But always have it under the headline of
Umbrella.
Imagine umbrella of Imagine
Yeah.
Hagerstown.
Imagine Hagerstown, Fourth Friday in the plaza or
I
something.
just think that
Imagine
makes more
Hagerstown
sense
Fourth
from a,
Fri-
like,
Fourth
you
Friday
see it, the
Festival.
more you see it, the more
We don't
people will
And
recognize
candidly,
it.
unlike others, I thought that you guys came up with a good logo for Imagine Hagerstown. Asheville has certainly used it, that's for sure. It's almost identical. And if it keeps getting used over and over again, it'll almost be like
I think to keep
somebody
it
with
simple,
us.
I think that, Fourth Friday,
There you go, Imagine Hagerstown, Fourth Friday.
Imagine Hagerstown, Fourth Friday in the plaza.
Keep going, Shelley.
No, I know.
Dot, dot, dot.
But I think that, people kind of know when it's like
From
a
6 to
first
8, yeah.
Friday, or, do you know what I mean, second Sunday, whatever it is, they kind of know that that type of event is usually in your downtown core area, whatever it, I think we won't even have to say in the plaza.
Right.
And in terms of, I was disappointed with the turnout this year, because I thought there was some great stuff going on, and, when I went down, I was like, where is everybody, But there was a gentleman today that made some recommendations to the mayor and council for things to do for downtown, and one of his suggestions I thought was very good, which was free T-shirts.
Great.
And if the, and
Anything free.
well, no, but it's free advertising. It's like,
Right.
you roll downtown, you walk downtown, you see every city in the country on T-shirts walking by except Hagerstown. So why not imagine Hagerstown T-shirts and, let people advertise, and they can wear them up to Greencastle, and they can wear them over to Shepherdstown, they can do whatever they want with them, but it's
love
getting advertising out there.
I mean, if you could get a T-shirt sponsor that would put their logo on it, I mean, bulk T-shirts aren't that
They're not
expensive.
that bad. no.
So if you could find a business that's willing to pay,
Give
whatever.
them out at Holly Fest, and
The what?
any event we have up,
Oh, give 'em out ahead of
leading up
time.
to it, make that part of, donut drop.
Get a T-shirt launcher, let the police
Could do
drive
that.
around.
There you go.
Get a T-shirt cannon and mount it on the SWAT truck.
And Kitty, I know I probably don't have to ask this, but
Go ahead.
when the cover band series, there'll be like a lot like what we were trying to do with the Imagine Hagerstown Festival, like diversity and some very eclectic groups, like the different types of bands.
I think-
If we can find like
Right.
with a good following.
I think that would be I personally think that's a good way to go, but I will want to weigh in, get other people's opinions on what that really looks like. But I mean, I think 4 weekends that's all 80s cover bands is not gonna be that
No.
compelling,
Right.
right? So I
Right.
think if we can find a Motown cover band and an 80s cover band and a
Reggae cover
Elvis
band
Presley cover
or
band or
something, yeah.
whatever, I think that's, I'm not sure how diverse Elvis Presley, but it's okay,
I
yes.
like Elvis Presley.
It's good, for you,
That was when you were in high school, what?
You were still on?
No, I like that. I like that. That ties everything together. And
Yeah, keeps the branding, because, I think that people that didn't know about it, if I had to figure out Facebook algorithms and all that weird stuff, people have already said, I don't even know what Herald Mail is talking about with Imagine Hagerstown, so it's already gonna show up in their Facebook feed next year.
Right.
So you've already got that continuity.
Right.
So,
I mean,
I think that's
yes, I
helpful.
think it's smart to keep going with it
Yeah.
before we just throw it away.
Okay.
Okay, that was good?
Thanks.
Done, wow, fast, thank you, very efficient. I'll let you know what happens tomorrow morning.
Thank you. Good luck.
A few things, Mayor. First of all, very happy that the city recognized Brian Thomas and Danny Rice out of our Parks Department, groundskeepers out at Hamilton Run Golf Course for a High Performance Award, very well deserved. It's a great golf course, well-maintained. I would say it's comparable to any in the area, and for a municipal course, I would put it up against any other municipal course in the country, as far as the upkeep of that. So it's nice to be able to recognize them today. Board of Traffic and Parking has a vacancy. If anyone's interested, they can go on the website and apply for that. Tonight is Remembrance in the Park, the 9/11 Remembrance at 6 o'clock down at the Remembrance Garden at City Park. This Saturday is Combating Racism discussion at 2 o'clock at the Johnson Community Center on North Street. I believe Councilman Heffernan's going to be on the panel there for that discussion. Hispanic Festival at Fairgrounds Park at 1:30 on Sunday, open to everyone. And then finally, the Longest Table event sponsored by Washington County Libraries, part of the Choose Civility Group. That's Saturday evening, the 100 block of South Potomac Street. The street will be closed from 3 o'clock until around 9 o'clock, but that's also open to the public, a great way to sit and talk to people you might not otherwise get a chance to talk to, and discuss pretty much anything you want to discuss in a civil manner. I think it's a great event that the library puts on. All for me.
Emma,
Nothing tonight.
Krista? Awesome.
Nothing tonight, just want to encourage people to come down to the Remembrance Garden for the ceremony tonight.
Luke?
Thank you, Mayor.
Joe?
Mr. Nicemore, there sure are a lot of things going on in Hagerstown.
We are hopping right now.
That is amazing. Thank you for such a list. I just wanted to bring up the event that's going to happen on the 12th of September, which is in 2 days. There are 23 providers in Washington County that have come together that are going to be offering 12 people who need help with substance recovery in one location. It's very difficult to get treatment. I've learned this firsthand, that just because you're an addict and want treatment does not mean that you get treatment that day. There are many barriers that even those that are addicted do not understand. So in one location, there will be a bunch of amazing individuals that are going to be offering treatment and assessments and hope and transportation for 12 individuals, and that is a tremendous, tremendous effort on the county's part, so, and the city of Hagerstown. So if you or anyone you know needs help with substance abuse, interested in helping with recovery, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. at Behavioral Health, which is in between WIC and Rite Aid. That's it.
Good. All right, that's it then. See you next week.